And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Electric planes and slave ships, do they have any correlation to you? Leave it to Georgia Congresswoman Majorie Taylor Green to compare the two. My next guest debate on if those words should have ever escaped her lips in the Woodlands during a youth conference.
What are we dealing with here with this Congresswoman?
We're dealing with her MO. It's stupidity, it's racism, it's bigotry, but she's shown us who she's been for the last few years. I mean, she's an equal opportunity offender, whether it's racism, whether it's anti-Semitism, whether it's Islamophobia. She always has something bigoted to say about minority groups. So some people might think this is a joke. I've heard some people say, well, maybe she was just trying to joke and audition a comedy routine. But when you've offended so many people and when you have to represent don't look like you, that don't believe like you can't make those types of jokes. And she knows better than this. It makes me upset, though, that somebody that can be this openly bigoted will get votes and people will vote her back into office. So that's really where my frustration lies, not necessarily with her, because we know there's individual bigots, but the fact that people will allow somebody like this to represent them in Congress.
Frank Spagnoletti, attorney, should she know better than this, or was she right on point?
Well, let me say it this way. I think I didn't think it was an appropriate analogy of any kind. Okay, it was insensitive politically because of the electrically charged attachment that there is to the use of the word slavery in the society in which we live now and have lived. But may I just say this as well? When I read the article and she talked about the people rowing slave ships, I didn't think of Black people. I didn't. I thought of the movie Ben-Hur, where they had all the slave captors underneath the water rowing away. I mean, on a Roman ship, okay? Because I'm sorry, I'm Italian and I watch some of those movies sometimes. But I was watching Ben-Hur and where Charlton Heston was rowing the boat. I didn't think of Black people, but I also was sensitive to the use of that inartfully by this person. I didn't even understand what she was talking about.
It was sort of a rambling explanation and a poor attempt at telling a joke.
I do happen to agree that I don't want an electric plane. I'm okay with the way the planes fly around now. I'm not a big proponent of Green New Deal. I'm a proponent of all energy. I didn't think she should be talking to young people about that. It doesn't make no sense to me. I didn't even understand what she's talking about. But anyway, my point is, but I do understand Todd's point of view because it hits a nerve because of the horrific situation that we had, obviously with the history here that we've had with slave ships coming to America and all the rest. But when I first read it, I didn't think of Black folks. I thought of Ben-Hur. I thought of the Jewish guy that was rowing the boat down there. Maybe that's because I'm not a Black person.
And I think that's why she should have explained herself a little bit better, because her track record was that she's a bigot. So when I think of slave movie, I understand your perspective and I respect that. But when I think of slave movies, me personally, I can't speak for every Black. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So that's why I think that she shouldn't have been the messenger, or she should have explained herself.
Let's go to Claver now to hear from him because we're running out of time, guys. Claver, your thoughts?
Thanks for the invitation, Isaiah. Those of us who speak publicly, and I would say all four of us get behind a microphone every once in a while, you learn quickly to stay in your lane. If you don't have a good sense of humor, if you don't have comic timing, just stick to your presentation in all seriousness and don't try to introduce any levity if you're not any good at it. But the thing that troubles me about this is the double standard that we see all the time that's placed upon those who are on the right, regardless of political party or ideology, that there's certain words, certain subjects that we can't touch, or we're going to get electrocuted. We're going to get bombarded and pulverized. Meanwhile, the left has complete license to say some of the most moronic, idiotic, offensive, incendiary things and get away with it. We say stupid things on both sides. It should be called out when both sides say stupid things. Marjorie Taylor Greene's attempt at comedy was poor. And, you know, I guess as Republicans, white Republicans, the word slavery cannot be uttered from their lips, or there's going to be some sort of charge of white supremacy or racism. Let's cut the double standard. When somebody says something stupid, moronic, idiotic, regardless of political party, gender, race, sexual orientation, call it out as what it is: idiotic stupidity.
And that's a good stopping point. We want to thank you all for joining us in this conversation tonight.